Hello and welcome to day 173 in this quest for a 2000 rapid chess rating on chess.com. So I think I'm at an all-time high so far of 1727. So let's look for an opponent here and begin. So we're playing 15 minutes with a 10-second increment per move. All right. Lately I've been playing the Jabava London with white, and then if I get the black pieces, I've been trying out the Caro-Kann, or with, if they play with the queen's pawn first, then I'd been responding with a queen's gambit declined. It's taking a while here to find an opponent. All right. All right, it's taken quite a while to find an opponent. Usually it doesn't take this long. Maybe everybody's getting off work and they haven't made it home yet to get on to chess.com. Okay, finally, we have a 1764 player. We have the black pieces. We're playing Zorbi 1956 from Turkey. All right, and we have an interesting move here, c4. So, maybe we'll play c6 and just see what they play against that. All right. Okay. Well, what should we try next? Probably bring our knight out. That would be a pretty solid move. So bring the knight up. And we just want to develop pieces here at this point. Since both of us just moved a bunch of pawns. Okay. A capture, of course, we want to capture towards the center. Okay. Now, what would be best here? Maybe develop this knight. Bring our knight up here. That would be pretty decent. But then the knight could be pinned. All right. Okay, so I have to make a decision. Do I develop the knight, or do I want to get my bishop out so I can push this pawn forward? But then we have to watch out. My opponent might bring his queen out here to b6, or bishop down here attacking. All right, burning up too much time, so I'll just develop there. Okay, so now I have to decide where to go here. Probably need... All right, I think I'm going to play it safe. Might decide to block my pawn in. I'll just do that. I'll block this pawn in. I can bring my bishop up here, or here to e7, get ready to get my king to safety. Okay, so we have the pin. We need to break that pin. So let's do that. Now what? Okay, we have a capture. So I'm just going to recapture. Now we can bring our bishop up here. Is that best though? Or do we go here? So we need to develop this bishop so we can castle, but where is best? I think we'll go there. Okay. Well, might as well castle, get our king to safety. Okay, we have 3 pieces. Well, they have 3 pieces developed now as well. So probably should place our rook here on e8. So we'll go ahead and do that. Also, we're placing it on the light square because our opponent, we have the bishop pair. They do not have this, or excuse me, they have the dark squared bishop. So if we put our pieces on the light squares, there's less a chance of them being attacked. Okay, well, we definitely need to well, we could attack here, push forward, threaten to capture this knight. We could also take the knight, king captures, that would give up our bishop. We'd be left with a bad bishop. So maybe that's not so good. All right, the problem is he's going to push this pawn. All right, I think we need to push forward, but how? Should we push this pawn forward and threaten? Or do we just attack this way? All right. Okay, now I'm just burning up too much time. But the issue here is he's probably just going to push this pawn forward. If I attack, he captures. I mean, if I go here, he captures, I capture. I think we'll do that. We'll just go there. Might end up with doubled pawns here, but okay. So he decides to push that way, so we might as well gain space as well. So we're going to go there. And now, if he does capture, and we recapture, we'll have this nice strong pawn formation in the center. Okay, so he captures. Now I have to decide, should I capture towards the center or capture out this way? I think we'll go that way. Capture towards the center is usually good advice. And his knight is limited. Well, not really. The knight could jump here, and then from there jump into this outpost, and then we would end up probably having to give up our good bishop. Then both of us would have bad bishops. So our opponent has the bishop blocked in on the dark squares by its own pawns, and our light squared bishop is the same way. So what I need to do is probably figure out where to place my queen next. All right, what is the time looking like? I have 11 minutes. They have 13, about to go into 12 minutes and something. I did burn up way too much time on two moves here. I took 1:47 on one move and 1:21 on the other, so that's not so good. But at least they're taking up some time here. All right. Well, what could they be trying to do here? Develop their queen. So, do I bring my rook back? Probably. Bring my rook back over to here. In case he pushes his pawn forward, then we're going to do some trading. All right. So I guess I'm going to have to fight for this half-open file. So I'm going to move back here. All right. And now we're also threatening to move up here and attack his queen. So his best move may be to push this pawn. Well, if he pushes that forward, I mean, I guess we could capture. He captures, we trade off rooks. He's going to end up with well, anyway, I am threatening to attack the queen, but I need to get my queen developed. So maybe e7 is looking good. Wow, and maybe it would have... No, I was wondering if it would have been better to push this pawn attacking his queen, but he could put his queen on h6 here, if I push this pawn. I mean, I guess I could try and bring my queen up, but he could be thinking about bringing his bishop here and here to attack my queen. But that, would that really matter? I could block. Okay, so there he goes. So we can go ahead and attack. So we'll go there, attacking his queen, forcing him to make a decision. All right, now that move kind of gets in the way of his knight. We do have his pawn blocked here, so he's probably going to bring his bishop in and try and attack. So, what can we do? Do we attack his queen again by pushing our pawn up? Maybe. He would have to run. All right. So he's probably threatening to push his bishop here and attack us. We could drive his queen back. Or he could come forward the other way. So maybe I don't like that so much. All right, I need to do something with my queen, though. Something with my queen. And I guess I could go over here and attack. All right, this will buy me some time. I'm thinking that I'm going to go attack here. I'll counterattack on this side. Then it gives me time to bring my rook up. Maybe I can bring my rook here, try and attack his queen. Let's see. Well, now he could bring his other rook up here. Okay, so he just decides to do that. What next? Do we double the rooks up? Double the rooks. Okay, well that's interesting. Where is his queen going after that move? All right. Okay. Do we bring our other rook over and line up on his king and queen? Oh, now he's thinking about bringing his knight out. Okay. So, if he brings his knight out, do we jump up here and then target his queen? All right, we're just going to go ahead and do that. All right, at least I'm lined up on his king. my bishop is lined up on his queen, so that could help me out, I guess. Hmm. What now? I would imagine he would bring his knight up, but if he does that, I mean, I guess I could push forward here, pin his knight to his queen, but then his queen could just move. Hmm. All right. Well, at least my opponent is burning through a lot of time, and now we're about even on time here. I actually have more time finally than my opponent. So, what can we do? I mean, I'm thinking he's just going to bring his knight forward, attacking my rook, but if he does that, I can attack his queen. I have to watch out that my rooks don't get a little bit trapped here. Okay, well now what can we do here? Hmm. All right, so that knight is threatening to push forward now. If he does that, yeah, now I'm going to be running out of time here. Um, do I bring this pawn up here? Oh, he's threatening to trap my rook now. So I probably just need to retreat here. So I'll go ahead and just retreat back. Okay, now should we attack his knight? Probably. Now if his knight comes forward, he's going to have to capture this way because this pawn over here is pinned to his queen. So if he jumps in, we capture, or excuse me, if his knight goes here, we capture. He captures this way. Oh, then we'll have he's got a rook that's trapped. So now we can just take his rook out with our bishop. Okay. And I don't know, maybe I overlooked that move previously, but now it's trapped. So I think we need to go ahead and take out that rook that he has left trapped here. Does he have any good counterattacks at this point? Not really. I mean, he could push here, attacking. We take, he takes, he starts going after my rook, but I can just retreat. In the meantime, no matter what he does, our bishop is going to get that rook there. Okay, so we'll capture towards the center. Now we're just going to push forward. Like that. And we get his rook. All right, I think we're good here. We have a little bit of extra time. His rook is trapped, so we're about to take that rook next. Now, what did that move do? I mean, I guess it lines up here, but no matter what, we're going to pick that off. And then now we can trade off his bishop as well. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we're going to get rid of the bishop. Okay, now we have to be careful here. So we'll go there. And now what should we try next? Probably need to push this pawn forward and gain space, but then the issue is he's going to have a knight in our position. We might need to leave this pawn here to guard these squares. All right. So now okay, the game is not over yet. I'm ahead in material, but we still have to be very careful here. All right. Where is best to place my queen? Or do I just go ahead and push this pawn forward here? If his knight jumps into an outpost, I think we'll still be good. All right, we're just going to go ahead and go there. Then I can use this open H file for my rook. Okay, so we want to go there. Oh, maybe we don't want to go there. We actually want to go up here. Try and grab this file. right. Our queen is kind of out of play, so I need to figure out a good spot for that queen. This is going to be a tense endgame here. I might have to give up my rook for this knight and a pawn if he jumps forward. All right. What now? What now? I need to be very careful about that knight jumping into my position. So his knight can go here. If he does that, my rook will be under attack, and I'll need to sidestep. Probably go here. But I need to be able to bring this rook back to guard my other rook, and in case he tries to trade off rooks. He probably doesn't want to do that. So I need to get my queen into the action. But how and where to put that queen? I mean, okay, so there we go. I probably should just continue to trade off more material. So we do that. Now we could check. We can check the king by going here, then bring our other rook in. All right. So now we can go here, but he'll be able to block. I mean, I guess we could give up our rook for the exchange for a pawn and the knight, but then we're going to have queens in the end game. And at least my queen is already up in his position. So the threat is if I bring my rook over to this file, I'm threatening to bring my queen over here and attack. All right, so he decides to block here. Okay. Well, what can we do? All right, now we can go after this pawn. Probably ought to go after the knight. So we're going to go there, threaten to take his knight. All right. Now, what could we do? We could go there attacking these pawns. All right. So, pawns. If I were to give up my rook, capture his knight, he captures, I get this pawn, I would be left with what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pawns versus his 5. Okay. Well, now I should probably just go after this other pawn. Unless I should take out the knight. Let's see. If I take the knight, capture. If I capture, he captures. I capture. He'll be able to check me over here. Do I go after this pawn or not? Okay, so if I take, he takes, I take, he checks me. Maybe I could just check his king. If I do that, check, then what? All right, maybe I just go after him. If I go here, capture. If I give up this rook, he takes. So take, take, take. He'll be able to check me here. I just drop back. All right, maybe I just go after this pawn right now. All right, we'll just go after it. So now I have the option of going here. If they trade, I'll be able to go here and line up on his king. If he decides to push this pawn and then I capture, but that would be a capture with a check. So yeah, it was probably good not to give up my rook, because now his knight is just trapped because of his own king, preventing that knight from being able to go anywhere. If he pushes the pawn forward, well, now I can just capture. If he pushes, I just capture with a check. Maybe gives up his knight. But then I capture. Okay, let's look at this. He pushes forward. I capture. His knight captures. He goes here. Oh, and then now that would be a check. So that might be his best way forward. Is yep, and there he goes. He pushes. But what if I push the other way? Now I probably should capture this way. I mean, he could try and go for a perpetual check, just start checking me all over the place. So I probably should just capture. Oh yeah, okay, never mind. I have this queen move here. If yep, now if he does that, my queen move, I'll be able to pin his queen. So now we trade queens off. So he'll probably just resign now because if his queen is pinned to his king. Yeah, so he resigned. All right, what is this? It says, I've summarized the moves that led to your win. Check out the evaluation graph to see the highlights. All right, yeah, we'll take a look at that. We'll do the game review and then a little bit of see what the computer analyzes. All right, a new high, 1743. So that's definitely my new high. Game review. Let's see what accuracy rating we had. So I had an 81.5% accuracy rating. My opponent had 73.7. So it looks like I got a little bit of a lead and then gave it up. Then got a lead, a big lead, a winning lead, and gave it back. Until I did that a few times. So I must have excuse me, I must have misplayed, some moves, of course. So it looks like I played at a 2000 level and my opponent played at a 1600 level. They had two blunders, but 11 inaccuracies by my opponent versus 4 by me. My opponent had one mistake, but I had 3. So we'll have to see what those are. We each had one missed opportunity. So in the opening, 98% accuracy by my opponent, 99.8 by me. In the middle game, 69.7 versus I had 78. And then the end game is where my opponent faltered, 54% for them and 76.1 for me. All right, we'll blast through the quick game review moves. Okay. So this was a Slav defense, apparently, which I was playing that a little bit, but I decided that I liked the Queen's Gambit better. But my opponent started with the English opening, and so we kind of transposed into this Slav defense. And I'll take a look at stuff in more detail once it plays quickly through these moves. So apparently I should have gone the other way. I should not have captured towards the center. I should have captured with the D pawn instead. All right. So that was a mistake. Oh, and then a blunder here. And I don't think I took advantage of that. It looks, or maybe I did. That's where I can move this bishop out and attack here, but maybe I didn't see that immediately. The problem is they can attack me. So I missed an opportunity. Apparently, I should have immediately attacked the rook. So, yeah, another thing to look at with the computer analysis afterwards. So that was a mistake. Now, well, it took me a while to find that trapped rook up there. Okay, so anyway, let's take a look at this. We have a lot to look at here in the computer analysis, so I'll just blast through these moves. This was not a good move, apparently. It looks like I should have pushed this pawn forward. Oh, yes, that would have restricted the knight. And they can't capture because of the pin on the queen here. Oh, man, yeah, that would have been a good move, and I did not find that. Okay, so that was a mistake. And they really like that rook move, dropping back, but I pretty much had to do that because I didn't want my opponent to be able to bring their queen here and start harassing my king. So I needed to take control of the h-file. So, oh, they don't like that move now. All right. So instead, I should have put my queen here earlier, which I did end up moving my queen here to attack both of these pawns. All right, so we go after the pawn. Apparently the check would have been better, but at this point, I'm pretty much winning. Okay, so this is where the game ended. So let me turn on the computer analysis. We'll go back to the beginning and take a look at a few of these mistakes. So the game began with c4. We have the English opening. And then after this move, we're still in the English opening, but this is the Caro-Kann defensive system. Now we're in a queen's pawn opening, and it transposes into the Slav defense. So, all right. Everything's pretty even here. We're just making developing moves, so they do like that move. I wasn't sure if I should have played that knight move. So all the knights are out, and apparently they like this move because it lets me develop my bishop next. So after this pin, looks like they prefer a3 instead, pushing this pawn to prevent the bishop or the knight from coming up here. All right, so that is played, which is still an excellent move, but apparently bishop to d7 is, or d6 is preferred. The reason I pushed this bishop up here is because I thought, well, if they capture, I would have to recapture. But I mean, I guess that would pull that pawn to the center, and then I could try to push forward. So we have a capture. They don't like that move. Okay, so development is continuing by both sides. So apparently immediately with rook to c8 would have been better there. And now the knight drops back, an inaccuracy. Apparently it would have been better for that knight to come forward, because if I would capture, we have recapture and they chase my knight. But if I wouldn't take, then they could bring that other pawn up, backing the knight up. So I decided to jump forward first, but they like b5 better, maybe to get ready and push up here and attack the knight and chase it. So they bring that pawn up, anyway, and now the knight can jump in here and maybe jump onto that outpost. But this is an inaccuracy. Developing the queen would have been better. So I push forward and counter with an inaccuracy of my own. Apparently a5, gaining space on the queen side would have been better. So we exchange, and I went the wrong way. So they actually like that move. Yeah, I guess that would allow me to bring my bishop up here and have a little more scope with my bishop, perhaps. And it would keep this pawn here, because it would prevent them from pushing that. It keeps the knight out. That knight is really, yeah, that would have been a better move. I misplayed that, I guess. So I captured that way. The queen tries to get into the game. So here the computer says bishop to b5 attacking the rook would be better. But I wanted to go here to kind of slow things down, and fight for this f file if it opens up. Bishop retreating, an inaccuracy. Apparently the queen back to d1 would have been better. So I attacked the queen, and that's an inaccuracy. The queen did not move to the best square. So I attack the pawn. Pawn is protected. But it would have been better to protect the pawn by bringing this rook up, which is what I thought my opponent might do. So I double my rooks. Queen drops back again. And now, yeah, that was an inaccuracy. So apparently, bishop to b5, attacking the rook would have been better. And we have this blunder. So I missed an opportunity by dropping back. So apparently I should have gone here immediately. So then we would have, see, I thought if I do that, they could just attack my rook and my rook would be trapped there. Huh. How does that even work? So they say the best thing to do is bishop to c3. But what if that were played? It looks like, oh wow, I could just go ahead and capture. And they say that's best. So if I capture, queen should capture. Then rook to g6, pinning that pawn so it can't capture my rook. So what? Queen up to e2. They kind of like that move. I don't know. This looked pretty tricky, all this. I mean, the computer can sort through that much easier than a person. So instead, I dropped back, making room for my knight to retreat, and then another blunder. So here, I attack the knight, which is still an excellent move. Knight retreats. And then we have this attack on the attack on the rook here. So counterattack on my rook. The best thing to do apparently is to retreat my rook immediately. But instead I capture. Now the rook retreats and we grab the rook. And here I was ahead in material, so I was trying to trade off. But this is an important move. If I would have gone here, they can't capture because I'm lined up on the queen. It looks like the best thing to do would be to push forward to f5. But now what? Queen to c7. Threaten to trade off material. So if I go there, threatening to take the knight, but it would be an even trade, but we'd have to trade queens off too. So, wow, it's bad if the best move they have is giving up their knight with knight to f3 and then the pawn could capture. If the queen gets out of the line of attack here, well then they recommend either capturing the knight immediately or apparently that's a little bit better. Bishop or rook to d1 now. Rook to d1. Here I would probably just go ahead and trade off material. I mean, capture, capture. We trade the queens off the board and I would just be ahead in material, and I could just go after this pawn, I guess. Although this would be better than after capture, recapture. Now I have 2 passed pawns, and I'd probably be really winning here. Okay, back to the finale of the game. So we're in this position. I move my bishop up here trying to trade off material. So they start pushing. An inaccuracy apparently would have been better to go ahead and capture my bishop. So I capture. And now, wow, rook to f5 is the best move. But I push here, and they say that's still an excellent move. Knight tries to jump into the position, and that's best because there's an outpost here, or even here. So the king comes up, an inaccuracy. Apparently, I should have swung over immediately with my rook. So I do that now. This is a mistake. c4 would have been better. Oh, wow, yeah, because c4, if I capture, it breaks my pawns up. If I don't capture, they could either push forward, and attack my queen, or capture. All right. Well, after this, we trade off. I bring my queen up with a check, and here, okay, that was a good move to take control of the h-file. But now I shouldn't have moved there. Apparently, the best move would have been to immediately put my queen over here. And then knight back up to g4, and then my rook would go to the h-file. So, all right, in the game we had that. The king comes up. That's a missed opportunity. Wow, apparently f5 would have made the game almost even. So let's take a look at that. f5. G takes f5 would probably happen. And then, oh, wow, they don't, sorry, that was wrong. I moved the wrong one. Delete that move. So I would have to go the other way, because if I captured that way, let's see. If I go this way, the queen will come up here and threaten to get into my position. I mean, I guess. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's looking serious. And the game would be pretty much a draw after this. So the only thing to do would be queen to d1, move my queen over here. So I would have to go there. But then we have f6, and that pawn is passed, and that's not looking very good. Wow, so my opponent did have some possible counterplay that I overlooked. So what if I did that instead? Well, then we have queen to f4, rook takes h6, queen to e5 check, king, whoa. Huh. I would have to go there. Wow, I don't know. That's looking very dangerous. I'm glad the game didn't go into this mess. They would capture. Now he's threatening to move here and get ready to promote this pawn. So the best thing to do would be what? Queen to D1. Wow, white would be absolutely winning at this point. So yeah, definitely, good thing I didn't play that. So in the game, we had queen to G3, or sorry, queen to C1. King comes up, an inaccuracy. The pawn should have pushed forward, I guess. So I capture. My opponent tries to get counterplay over here, but after capture, here he probably forgot that my queen could go here and pin his queen, because after this, of course the best move is that with the queen pinning his queen to his king, because he probably thought he was going to get some kind of counterplay by moving up here next, or something, start chasing my king all around. But of course the game ended with that, and that's where they resigned, because his queen is pinned. We're just going to trade queens, and I'll have the extra rook and win easily. All right, well, feel free to leave comments. As always, I love hearing from viewers and subscribers. Like and subscribe to support the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and have a super chess day.